At Ole Miss, a mob of white students mock demeaned and monkey chanted at a black woman. It has an eerie feeling of the 1960s. These are the faces of maintaining the status quo.
Lizzo, 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 Lizzo. You bet. You.
For the record, are these the kids Kevin O'Leary was talking about protecting and promoting in their career endeavors? The irony, they claim to support that state, that country, yet throw their weight behind an anti-Semite.
I have to press you on it a little bit. Just to ask if the president, if your uncle was an exception to that in your family, or if you ever heard him express either use anti-Semitic slurs or the N-word or other racist slurs or other sentiments like that. Or do you mean this was an ambient thing in your family, but you can't say that you ever heard it from him, or did you hear it from him too?
Oh, yeah, of course I did. And I don't think that should surprise anybody given how virulently racist he is today.
Have you heard the president use the N-word?
Yeah.
And anti-Semitic slurs specifically?
Yes.
Incredible stupidity in the form of bigotry. We know from unsealed classified documents the hijackers were from Saudi Arabia, not Palestine. But to these racist morons, it's all the same. The pictures are depressing, the scene's disappointing. What's even more saddening is the green light being given by elected officials like Rep. Mike Collins of Georgia. He saw the video of racist white student monkey chanting and body shaming a black woman and captioned it, and I quote, "Ole Miss taking care of business." Of course, what he does not want you to know, via journalist Ashton Pittman, is Collins' stamp of approval in aligning with far-right figures. Let's just do a quick side-by-side to show history repeating itself, shall we? 2024 sees a group of white college-age men talking down to a person who's protesting against the atrocities taking place, akin to the 1960s. And what we saw there, eerily similar. Via the Clarion Ledger, who have done great work, approximately 50 to 60 protesters gathered in response to what has taken place. And the location was the quad of the Ole Miss campus. The event would quickly escalate with more than 200 counter-protesters flooding in from different parts of campus within an hour and starting to throw objects and shout at the protesters. They would say the T word repeatedly with the white crowd. A student would tell the paper, "We're here to spread the message of peace. Save Christians in Gaza. Save churches, mosques, people." I mean, what's the point of the counter-protesters being here? They're pro-Trump. They're not even pro-Israel. I'm not sure they know where it is. They can't even point to it on a map. Embarrassingly, one counter-protester held up a shirt that read, "I heart Israel," in colorful paint. The counter-protester identified himself as Ben Holberg and said he's a student at Mississippi State University and drove in for the protest. Yet after saying he is a student at Mississippi State University, Holberg changed his story and said, no, he's a student at the University of Georgia. Trevor Leahy, a 21-year-old business major, spoke with Mississippi Today and said, quote, "We were going to go to the pool, but then we heard this was going to happen, so we were like, F that. We're going to come over here and counter it." Leahy, a frat bro, would go on to say, "I don't care that much. I just don't want them to encamp on my school. It looks ugly. I'm paying for them to be here. From the writer/reporter, Molly Minta. The protesters were not setting up camp. They wouldn't speak to a reporter beyond a statement they had prepared, but Mississippi Today couldn't obtain it by press time. Here's my question for the frat guy. He's paying for the protesters? Who is he, Bill Ackman? These protests are protected under the same thing that if you ask this pro-Trump mob if they believe in the Constitution, they will unequivocally say yes. So my question is, why? Why must it be constitutionality for me, not for thee? And we have seen this with many Trump supporters who claim that they are evangelicals, and it will be, well, I live by my holy scripture, but there's always a but of deciphering between, well, I don't agree with that, but I agree with this, and I live by this, and I live by all of it. But it's just frustrating. Also, and I'm about to show you something of a previous clip we did of Governor Ross Barnett, James Meredith, and the history of protests that took place on this campus. You know,
at 8 o'clock, just as the president went on the air, Ole Miss turned into a battlefield. Very few people heard the president's words.
This is a story of the Deep South, segregation, civil rights, and basketball.
Laws and not of men, no man, however prominent or powerful, and no mob, however unruly or boisterous, is entitled to defy a court of law. If this country should ever reach the point where any man or group of men, by force or threat of force, could long deny the commands of our court and our Constitution, then no law would stand free from doubt. No judge would be sure of his writ, and no citizen would be safe from his neighbors.
In June 1962, a United States Court of Appeals ordered the University of Mississippi to admit James Meredith. It would take numerous attempts that year before the 29-year-old Air Force veteran and Mississippi native would become the first black student at Ole Miss.
If you'd like to see the full clip, check it out on demand. I end with this. I see POTUS giving speeches that really upset me, where he continues to lose the plot and not see it. And what he's not seeing is the power of protest and demonstrations. The same things that he is saying are what Martin Luther King warned of, which was the white moderate, because that's exactly what he is. He put forth the crime bill. He has aligned with others who have demeaned, talked down to, and imprisoned innocent people. He has been wrong on so many different issues. And if the Dems want to lose in November, they will continue with this guy. They will lose. And their whole argument is, well, what's the alternative? You should be earning our votes. The corporatists should not say, this is who we're putting in. And that is why the political system is completely broken. On top of this, Joe saying, I don't agree with the protests and they're violent. When the cops show up, they're violent. These are kids who feel like in their right, their constitutionally protected right, they have a right to protest, and that is under attack. because of what is going on that they don't agree with across the seas. Well within their right. And I have seen this rhetoric over and over through the history books, that first off, the police do not make them safe. The police have incited violence and also stood by when others have thrown fireworks, stink bombs, what have you, in the encampments. Yet, through the civil rights movement, through the sit-ins, through the women's suffrage movement, over and over we always hear about, not the right time, don't protest, taking it too far. It's not what a protest is. A protest is supposed to make you uncomfortable. A protest is supposed to disrupt the norm, because the norm that we're living right now is not sustainable for everyone. If you want to have peace, liberty, and justice for all, that should be a sweeping conclusion across the board. It shouldn't just be for some. And yet that's exactly what we're seeing. It is shameful, and I am flat out ashamed of what we are seeing.